Welcome back to the channels, Bojangle. We got another video to check out with regards to My Hero Academia, the U.A. Traitor. Who is it? Who it is? Niggas don't know. Who's that spy that snitched on them in season 3? Who is it? I got a feeling it's one of the teachers. I'm not sure which teacher it is, because it's kind of hard. I mean, could it be that the Spectre teacher? I don't know. I feel like it's one of the teachers. I just don't know who can I guess off the top of my head might be the one that is the traitor. And hopefully, I think you guys said season 5 it's not going to be revealed who the traitor is. Season 6 it's not going to be revealed who the traitor is. And some of you said that Horikoshi forgot. I don't think he forgot. I think he just said that to y'all just so y'all can just keep wondering. Because I feel like he's the type of dude that be trolling a lot. Alright, so if you guys enjoy my content, subscribe to the channel and put down in the comments what your theory is. So without further ado, let's get it going, baby. Let's go.
I know from the title, you guys must be thinking that this theory is far-fetched and way overdue, especially since Horikoshi did mention that he had forgotten about it not once, but twice. But I feel like he may put this idea to effect when it's least expected, and it's no harm theorizing who it may be, and if they could be revealed in the near future. Now, ever since the traitor was mentioned after the U.S.A. arc, and it also being riled up even more after the forest training, so many of us have tried to pinpoint who it could be. But before we get into this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with my latest uploads. Also follow me on Twitter for any new updates concerning the channel. This video will definitely contain spoilers from the manga. Currently in the latest chapters, it's honestly hard to tell whether Horikoshi would ever mention the traitor again, but with our hopes high and just theorizing this idea, we can probably come up with someone from U.A. that may play a part towards this traitor theory. Anyways, let's find out who the traitor could be. So be sure to check out the original theory if you'd like to gain a much better understanding of it. The link will be in the description below. So first off, we'll need to get a better understanding of the context of this traitor theory, since not many of us get the gist of it, and it's also been quite some time since this theory was put out in the open. So this first incident which had triggered this traitor situation was when Shigaraki and the League of Villains had infiltrated U.S.A. Now, to put into perspective, it's probably the most highly secure training facilities in Japan, which trains students how to handle disasters. But that was not the case for Shigaraki and the League of Villains, especially since they had used Kurogiri's warp gate to access the facility, thus meaning someone may have spilled some information about the schedule of the students to the League. Although during the time it was overlooked, it made us think even harder, as Kurogiri's warp gate works in a way where he needs to know the area of where his warp gate will appear. So there is no other way that an insider may have worked alongside the League to catch the students in such a vulnerable time. So now the second part to why this traitor theory was solidified was when the villains were able to infiltrate the students yet again, whilst they had their training in the forest with the Pussycats. However, only the teachers and students knew of the location. The likes of Toga, Darby and Mr. Compress and many more were able to find the location and successfully kidnap Bakugo whilst doing it. President Mike had even stated there is a traitor within U.A., which sparked so many theories regarding the situation. Well, the traitor will have to be someone with an actual motive or end goal to seek out whilst betraying their fellow peers, especially someone who has clues leaking out of them. So right from the get-go, there's no way in hell Deku could be the traitor. Well, of course he's the main protagonist. Him betraying U.A. would totally take away the whole idea of My Hero Academia, so it's easy to say that Deku is completely safe. Now the next main character of this series is Bakugo. Well, from the start of My Hero Academia, my senses always told me that he could become a potential villain in the future, but from what we've seen of his characteristics and personality, Bakugo could never betray them regardless of how much energy he has towards killing people. He was brought up in the exact same manner as Deku, both admiring All Might and wanting to defeat the villains. Also, another key factor which proves his innocence was when he had gotten kidnapped. Bakugo was literally in the villain hideout and the League were trying to recruit him. Even when Shigaraki tried persuading him, he still didn't budge, but instead attacked him in front of all the villains. Bakugo has grown immensely. He gives off similar vibes to Endeavor. The Razorhead is also totally out of the question. Aizawa practically risked his entire life during the U.S.A. arc and even in the most recent chapters, preparing to sacrifice himself in order to protect Deku and Bakugo. He is the greatest teacher U.A. has ever had. Todoroki in a similar fashion can't be the culprit. Momo is also not in the equation, as she did indeed put a tracking device on the Nomu to find the whereabouts of Bakugo's location. Also, Kirishima is just too honest and innocent to even even think of him as a traitor. He has no motives to comply with the League of Villains and wants to help the civilians and work alongside Bakugo whilst doing it. Mineta, on the other hand, is just a comedic character put into place to add their humor in the My Hero
What if he
Academia
was the
series.
traitor?
I cannot envision an evil Mineta.
Oh,
now, as for
man.
Class B, it's sort of debatable since more than half of them are kind of irrelevant in the series. I guess the only ones we can pinpoint are Naito Monoma, Itsuka, and Tetsu, as they're probably the only characters in Class B to have been in the spotlight a bit more so that we could understand them. Principal Nezu, All Might, and the other teachers who haven't been in the limelight as much are ruled out, since Principal Nezu contemplated the idea of the traitor in his office alone, and the other teachers we don't have much background info on, such as their motives, but from what we've seen so far, they are genuine teachers, but innocence sometimes is the best cover. As for All Might, why the hell would he be the traitor? After practically sacrificing his...
Did someone suggest All Might's the traitor? Who suggested All Might being the traitor? You need to get the hell out. Get out. Get the hell out. Get out.
life to save people most of his time as a hero, so that's case closed. So right now we have ruled out the likes of Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, All Might, Eraserhead, Kirishima, Momo, Mineta, Principal Nezu, and most of Class 1B, and also the irrelevant teachers, who've only had a little cameo in the series, leaving us with practically Class 1A. So let's now understand the following theories of the characters we currently have our eyes on.
1A?
The first and most popular culprit is Denki Kaminari. One of the reasons people believe the Kaminari traitor theory is because he has the ability to send out his location and jam signals using his quirk, which would be pretty useful to the League of Villains, and would explain how they knew where the training camp was. And someone was also jamming the signal during the U.S.A. attack. Later in the episode, Gyro, Kaminari, and Momo were confronted by a villain with a quirk very similar to Kaminari's, who also could have been the one jamming the signal, but this was never confirmed. Some other people think that Kaminari is hiding how intelligent he really is and what capabilities he truly has, which makes some sense. He has a really out of character moment on the bus. He says it's only been a brief while since our socialization has commenced, and yet already we have been made apodictically cognizant of your personality, redolent as it is of a turd getting steamed in a sewer. It's more simple and more like Kaminari in the anime, but it's out of character. The only one I could imagine saying this is Nezu and maybe Aoyama. Some people even believe that Kaminari is a sociopath, which is why his bedroom is so gaudy. He tried to design it so it would look like the average teenager's room, but since he doesn't understand other teens, he failed. We can kinda debunk the Kaminari traitor theory though. The electric quirk villain did threaten to hurt him in the U.S.A. attack, and he did some serious damage to some other villains before that. It's still a good logical theory. The second culprit on this list is of course Uraraka. Now if All for One or Shigaraki told Uraraka that they could give her family a comfortable life, she might just give in. But I don't think Uraraka would be good at keeping it a secret, as the situation in hand is just too big, and you would be able to tell from her facial features whether she's guilty or not. Also surely she's smart enough to know that just becoming a hero would be a lot easier, so that she would be able to afford enough money for her family and grant them a much easier life. Then again, that would be a pretty good cover-up. Perhaps Shigaraki blackmailed her and threatened to harm her parents, or even Deku and their other friends, but currently Uraraka being the culprit is quite far-fetched, especially with how much she has evolved with everyone else. The third culprit is up there with Kaminari, and that is Naito Monoma. Although his character is set up for comic relief, he seems intelligent and is also sadistic in a way. However, he did fail his exams, which didn't allow him to go to the forest training camp. Perhaps he failed on purpose to keep himself from danger. Understanding the situation, he thought a few steps ahead. There are also some theories regarding Monoma being All for One's son, so I guess it would follow up that sort of theory. Monoma being the traitor is very close with Kaminari's, as we've only seen Monoma's sadistic side, and he does seem like someone with that extra motive to accomplish this goal for the League of Villains. Anyways, following up on this long list of culprits is Yuga Aoyama. He's a bit of a minor character, but during the U.S.A. attack, Aoyama is nowhere to be seen. He also hides in the bushes during most of the training camp's attack, yet he does jump in to help in the very last moment. The look on his face before he does suggests internal conflict, which might just be him fearing for his own safety, but it also could be him having an internal monologue about loyalty. We also have heard a bit of his backstory that his quirk doesn't suit his body. We know he's drawn to people who understand him, like Deku. This all falls back to All for One. We understand that All for One was able to grant people with tremendous amounts of power and quirks, but he could also take them away. Maybe All for One offered the idea of granting Aoyama a much better quirk, or even able to control his current one, which may have led to Aoyama being influenced by this idea and snaking out his fellow friends. Now moving on to Suyu Asui, she's quite suspicious when it comes to the common theory. She doesn't express herself much. She claims to always say what she's thinking. She doesn't seem like she'd have trouble trouble keeping such a big secret. She hasn't done anything that's suspicious as of yet. She does actually
And
point
she's
out
really
that
good at her
Deku's
job.
quirk
Like
is
she
similar
actually
to
has
All
like a lot of
Might's, which is
she acts like she has a lot of
because nobody
experience
else
as
has
a
made that
veteran.
comparison yet. She was against rescuing Bakugo, but she's a lot more harsh than everyone else. Her decision to stay out of the Room King game could have been her contemplating her decision to betray her friends in the first place. She did aid Deku and Mineta in the U.S.A. attack though, but the League were after All Might and not the student, so perhaps she was protecting the League from them. She doesn't do much during the training camp. It might have just been because she's a secondary character. She doesn't do anything that proves that she isn't a spy, so Asui could be a contender alongside Kaminari, Aoyama and Monoma. The final culprit, and I firmly believe, and that is Toru Hagakure. Being invisible comes with so many perks and is very convincing with lots of evidence behind it. There are two variations of it. Toru was nowhere to be seen during the U.S.A. attack, but she claimed to be in the same place as Todoroki. However, somehow she knew that Ojiro fought well, even though he was nowhere near her. Kurogiri could have easily warped it to safety. Toru also seems to want to stand out a lot, but that's hard since she's literally invisible. Perhaps she wants All For One to take away her quirk, similar to Ayama's situation, so she can try to stand out even more. In the chapter where they vote who should be class president, her vote is the only one not accounted for. She's seen in the episode, but she doesn't say or do anything. This is quite a stretch, but could Toru have set her clothes up so that it looked like she was present, and was instead actually going off doing something else with the League? Also, the one who suggested they go to the mall is Toru. Maybe she lured the class out there so Shigaraki could get his hands on Deku. Also, something we don't see people talk about much is the ending of the season 3 opening song 2. You see Toru's hands closing in on our main character Deku as his eyes are closed. Notice that almost every character is looking off in the distance or has their eyes closed, almost as if they're unsuspecting of something. The only two looking at Toru are Mineta and Kirishima. Maybe they're the ones who found out her secret. They looked confused, almost scared. Why would they put such an unimportant character so front and center? I mean, maybe it's just because you can see right through her, but why are her hands closing in on Deku like that? We all know
I
it's
think
not
she's
below
holding
Mineta
her
to go
hips.
snooping, but he catches Toru doing something
I think she's just holding her hips,
telling
maybe.
Kirishima about it, desperate to be rid of the burden. This fits in the second variation of the Toru Hagakure theory as well. Trigger is a quirk-enhancing drug introduced in the My Hero Academia spin-off Vigilantes. Twice as a member of the League of Villains and Toga Himiko's friend. He can make a clone of anything he likes. We know Toga's quirk allows her to take on the appearance of another person as long as she consumes some of that person's blood. Toga reveals something about the quirk in the provisional license exam arc. She can turn herself invisible if she holds her breath and makes her mind blank. Is it too much of a stretch to say that Twice could have cloned Toga, given the clone the trigger drug so that they could be invisible for longer, and have that clone go to U.A. under an assumed identity, Toru Hagakure? They even have the same initials, TH. I understand that the traitor theory is long past its time and is overdue, but these theories could link to an even bigger concern, especially in the more recent chapters of My Hero Academia. Right now, the heroes are facing off against Shigaraki. This may be the best place to reveal the traitor's identity, just how Hawks was able to play a double.
Wait, wasn't the League of Villains recruited after UA started? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Because Shigaraki Tomura, because she joined UA before all that. The League of Villains came way after. It was like season 2, the League of Villains popped up. And when you saw Twice and all of them. Yeah, that one doesn't make any sense. That second part that they said, nah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I don't think that works. But that's still interesting though. Yeah, I don't think she's the traitor though. That was a good theory. Interesting. I low-key think he probably is just trying to think of a way to spin the traitor in, and we won't know. I think it's one of the teachers. It's the easiest way to explain. I think it's one of the teachers. Let me know what you guys think, who the traitor is. Let me know. This is Bojangle signing out. Peace out, y'all.